Alright, this is the story. Kimble Bent, who was an American who fought with the colonial forces down in Taranaki, and when he was given 50 lashes one night he ran away, joined up with Maori, lived there for 30 years and fought on the other side. And when von Tempsky was killed in the Battle of the Beak of the Bird, he was the one who identified the body. And von Tempsky, that's another song. Anyway, he, when the reward was off his head, he went back to New Plymouth and became a confectionaire again, which is a cake maker. And he was also an interpreter at Parihaka and various places, so quite an interesting character. Kimble Bent was a sailing man, took the King's shilling, come to New Zealand, sent to Taranaki to quell unrest, fighting with the 57th Regiment, gave him 50 lashes and late one night, but when the cat spoke, well, he took flight. Kimble Bent fled into the bush, to join up with the Maori was his wish, taken by the hobo, wet and cold. They held a hooey round the new pole. Shall we just kill him or cut off his head, or let him live with us instead? £500 for his head, offered by the New Zealand government. Traitor and deserter, Kimble Bent. If he gets caught, well, he'll be dead. With teeth tucked world he did fight, beat the British Army in all its might. Had the birds beat Monroe with shot, that's made the government mighty hot. Chased him through the swamp and the forest too. Now, if they caught him, he knew what they'd do. £500 for his head, offered by the New Zealand government. Traitor and deserter, Kimble Bent. If he gets caught, well, he'll be dead. After many years in the wilderness, the government finally lost interest. For a short time he moved to the city, where he became a big celebrity. He was a pocket money, but now he's gone, and Kimble Bent's legend still lives on. So pocket money, but now he's gone, and Kimble Bent's legend still lives on. I like to muck that in there.
A very cheery song, Chris.
A cheery song.
Interesting character, really interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder.
There's a book about him by James Cowan, historian, wrote a book about Kimble Bent. And there's also a graphic novel that you can get in the library filled with cartoons.
Yeah.
And that's Kimble Bent on the
cover.
On the cover, and the graphic novel about Kimble Bent was done by a guy called Chris Gross, and he also did the artwork.
I see. Yeah.
So there's connections all around.
Yeah.
And
So to all you 7th form students out there studying history and finding it really hard to concentrate on your books,
look up Kimble Bent.
I don't know, get Chris's CD and study while you enjoy the music.
I found a really interesting. There was a letter from him, and he was living deep in the bush, and he wrote a letter to the Governor General saying, is it alright if I come out of the bush now, because I never killed anybody, although I fought on the other side, and I he taught them how to use the muskets, etc., but they never kind of trusted him quite enough to give him a gun in the battles, because they thought he might change his mind and start shooting them. So he was in charge of taking all the women, children and everything out the back of the pa and into the bush when they were being chased, and So yeah, no, he had a pretty interesting life. Learned all the Maori black magic and.
And it takes a lot of I don't know the right word for it, dedication or just strength to be able to sort of live with different people for 30 years.
Well, that's right. The interesting thing about the letter, which I found on papers passed again, it was in a kind of a pidgin English, so the language had sort of almost forgotten how to speak English by then, and it was really quite beautiful. It's actually, I think I printed it. It's in the liner notes of the booklet that comes with the CD.
Yeah. And hopefully the tab book's going to come out soon.
Oh, the tab book, yeah.
And we can all learn how to play your awesome songs. Chris, thanks very much for coming and sharing all your songs with us today.
It's my pleasure.
It's been very,
it's a great project you got going.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to end with one last song.
Yeah, we'll finish off with a song about Von Tempsky, who was mentioned in the Kimble Bent song, because his nickname was Maori name was Manurao, which means flock of birds or many birds, because they never knew where he was going to pop up in the forest. It was kind of a guerrilla fighter. And so even though he's on the Unsung Heroes, he was kind of a bit of a rogue as well. But he was a fine guitar player and a beautiful artist and a journalist. And his guitar I found in the Waikato Museum. It's a Petit Jean Lane made in Mirecourt, France in the 1830s. And I got to hold it. It's beautiful. Anyway, he came for the gold and he stayed for the fighting. Adventurer bold, Von Tempsky by name, and the stories they told of exploits exciting raced and roared all over this land. Mosquito to Mexico, down to Guatemala on a great white stallion. What a sight was he! Then to California, on to Coromandel, chasing his fortune he'd never see. With a whistle round his neck to call his rangers, and long torn boots looking fine, Colt revolver and a Bowie knife by his side. A writer, guitarist, a fabulous artist, kind of a Renaissance man. The brave Von Tempsky died with a sword in his hand. Goldfields were boring, Canada was warring, joined up with the army. That was his game. Soon he was the captain. Feared forest rangers, won many battles that fed his fame. With a whistle round his neck to call his rangers, and long tall boots looking fine, Colt revolver and a Bowie knife by his side. A writer, guitarist, fabulous artist, kind of a Renaissance man. But brave Von Tempsky died with a sword in his hand. Down to Taranaki fighting Titakawaru at the beak of the bird, Manurao was shot dead, burned on the fire, fame and flame grew higher. A swashbuckling hero came to his end. Sing along. Whistle round his neck to call his rangers, and long tall boots looking fine, Colt revolver and a Bowie knife by his side. A writer, guitarist, fabulous artist, kind of a Renaissance man. The brave Von Tempsky died with a sword in his hand. He came for the gold, and he stayed for the fighting. Adventurer bold, Von Tempsky by name, and the stories they told of exploits exciting, raced and roared all over this land. Brave Von Tempsky died with a sword in his hand. Thank you.